Round 8 team list serves us a few shocks here, and look at these beautiful faces on that screen, especially the man on the right, Rubes. Beautiful man, beautiful mullet, and don't be shocked, guys. Do not be shocked if he hits at 80 minutes this week and has a banger. Hopefully, Kalen Ponga comes back and has a good game, and hopefully doesn't get concussed. It would be great. We have Wade Egan, who's out as well. Unfortunately, he's still suffering symptoms from his concussions. He's gone. He pretty much went for HIA each and every week and has missed out two with that 11-day turnaround. So that's a worrying signs, especially for the Warriors, and means Freddie Lussick gets some more time. Joey Manu, massive news in this one. This has been a crazy team list, and guys, Brad Arthur's kind of cooked us a little bit. Big changes at the Roosters with Robinson and his squad. Joey Manu has been moved to the 6th position. Sammy Walker's been dropped for this game, and it makes sense, like not just for him and him playing poorly, but obviously the whole team and how bad they've been across the board, and Sammy being dropped, I think it's a bit of a kick up the arse for him and the rest of that team. So Joey comes into 6, and my initial trades, I thought it was going to work out perfectly, but it's not going. I don't think it's going to happen now. But anyway, we'll work that out as we go. But that first game of the round, Rabbitohs and the Panthers, and pretty well same across the board there. Hoskin keeps his spot, guys. Sorensen still stays in there, so very interesting to still see Garner sitting in the 18 reserves jersey. Don't be alarmed if he happens to sneak into this starting side. Sorensen goes back to the bench and we lose Lindsay Smith from that interchange. So that would be the general theory there. Expect this to be a close game. I still would expect Mitch Kenny to do pretty well in this one. If you don't have hook cover, I still find it pretty tough to bring him in, but I understand what you'd be looking at. Isaiah continues to dominate. You get 5 good games out of him before Origin, guys, so if you still want to go for him, he's one of the best scorers at the moment, and he does it week in and week out. On the Bunny side, if you held on to the great man, Michael Cheekham, you get rewarded again. If you sold him, it's upsetting, but it is what it is, unfortunately. You don't expect the great man, Colin Matangi, to go down. 6 to 8 weeks, he'll be out. So host Cheekham, keep that spot, which is cool. And then you get Jai Arrow going to the front row position. Again, don't be shocked if when Totola comes back that we lose Arrow to the edge. And he's one of those guys that should be a pretty solid pickup for your squads. Still a good chance that he plays Origin, guys. I know that he's been a little bit in and out of the side, and some people have him as unlikely to play Origin, but it's definitely something to keep in mind and probably have a good analysis of that Origin side. You've obviously got in the middles there. He won't play edge, so middles you're looking at Cotter, you're looking at Carrigan as some definites. Tom Gilbert is a good chance to be on that bench, and you've got a few guys. Who we got there? There's a few other guys as well that you'll have to look at as well as potential guys, and he could definitely be an option in your side. Anyway, Isaac Thompson's back as well. If you held on, happy days. Would you go for Latrell Mitchell or Campbell Graham right now? Latrell, yeah, sure. Graham, probably a little bit too expensive at this point, to be honest with you. He scored 2 tries last week and had a low one, so it's still going to happen, guys. The centre's going to be up and down as you go. Damien Cook scored better than most of those hookers last week, and he should have a good game in this one. A few people ask me, is it too late to get Hosking? I don't think it's too late, but he is priced up at just over 50 now. So you're buying him as a general 55 scorer would be your hope there, and he gains a little bit more cash and is just a gun for the rest of the year. But the edge position, if you've waited all this time for Hosking, is probably just let him through the keeper, I would say. Let's go down to Eels Broncos, and this is the one that absolutely just blows my mind again. I think is the only reason why they've gone back to this is because Hodgson's back. Hands played the 80 anyway. I don't know why this changed things. Makatoa comes out off the interchange onto the reserves now, and Hodgson comes back. So Hands on the interchange is maybe why they did this, but they've moved Madison back to the middle. Cartwright goes back to the edge. So if you happen to randomly hold Cartwright through that and weren't able to change, and you get rewarded in this one, and it leaves us Hopgood holders in the end, which I wasn't going to be. I was happy just to go him to Moses in a little bit of a strange situation right now, because what's going to happen? We decided to move him on because he was sitting on that bench, and maybe we still have to do it. So it's a tough one. It's a very tough situation because can he still come on and hit that 50 minutes? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Like the Campbell Gillard and Junior both played 50 minutes last week, and Cartwright played that 50 off the bench, so maybe Hopgood could just be that guy that plays the 50, but last week 70 to get his 50 points. If he gets 50 minutes like he did a few weeks ago, is he back down to that 40 scorer and frustrating? If you do want to trade him out, then I think you really need to go to a top gun. or yeah, it has to be a real good reason to trade him out. Otherwise, he probably is a hold in this one. So yeah, it's just a strange situation with the Eels at the moment with that. Penasini's in there, obviously goes up about 40k after that one. He's 640 now, so he's getting much more expensive, and understand the theory of everyone trying to pick him up now, but it is after a 70, and the reason why he scored, like, obviously he's good, but a big reason why he scored that is because the Dogs were decimated on their edges and had to move things around, and at times where he was scoring well down that right edge, they'd moved Alamotti and then moved him back. There was just too much going on, and him and Ockenbaugh and I can't remember, Torpany or whoever else is out there at the time, it was a big reason why they weren't able to defend that great, and Penasini was just getting, like, they were going down the sideline. They had 2-on-0 at one point, and then he just passed it back into Moses. So that's it for Penasini. Moses still the best option in here. Keep waiting on Laney, and Madison obviously a good option as always. Reece Walsh, they begin their harder matchups now. So Broncos come up against some of the better sides. You've got Eels, Penrith, and the like coming up. So if you're looking at Walshy, yeah, like you're picking him up now just to be a keeper for the entirety of the year, because he's pretty expensive now. He's up in the 650s, and very similar to that of Jack Bird in that position there, where they have to continue to average 50 and to really make them worth it if you're bringing them in. Payne Haas, a clear good option as always. The rest of the squad stays pretty much the same with Flegler coming back. So I should say that Corey Oates does come in for Arthur's, but not fantasy relevant on that one. Let's go Dogs v Sharkies here. Perham keeps his spot. Two low ones for him now coming up against the Sharks. I think it is time to sell him if you're looking at it. Just a couple of bad scores. Every chance he comes out and gets a 40 in this one, but 40 where you can try and go to a gun and get 50. I understand why you would. Alamotti gets back into the centres after spending a lot of time on the wing. Averillo maintains his spot. So with a few guys on the reserves there, Jarrell Skelton hasn't made the squad, but he has a chance of making his debut if Averillo can't get through the rest of the week. He's been named. I think they'll give him his chance, and he looked pretty hobbled on the weekend. Braden Birds comes in. Declan Casey comes in. Both not options at the moment, guys, so avoid them. Davida Pangai, definitely a solid option, guys, if you want to look at him. You look at that interchange, it's Reynolds, Ockenbaugh, Davey, and Sutton. So minutes-wise, you'd expect that 50, and I think he's going to be super important in this game if they want to try and win this one. Preston, still a clear hold, guys. He should be able to get the 80 minutes in this one, you'd imagine, but Davey on that bench there is a little bit of a worry. I would expect, though, Davey to come in for Waddell in this one, and Sutton, Ockenbaugh, and Reynolds to kind of work through the middle with Fatala Mariner, Pangai Jr. and Maxi King. You doubt that Maxi plays at 70 minutes this week, so that's probably how that bench plays out. And I think Pangai is a sneaky option who, if you're watching this one, guys, and those are asking in the comments about different players, wait for that big buy, hold, risk it, sell video with Scoot tomorrow, and we answer all of those guys. So just ask certain questions that won't be answered in those videos, and I'll happily answer them in the comments. So thank you there. Sharky boys. Not so much to say on their side of the ball. Oregon Kafusi keeps his start. McInnes keeps his start as well. McInnes still a solid one, guys. Under 600k. Pretty good to pick up there. Nothing changes for them. He'll get his 55, 60 minutes again, and he should score pretty well. So it's going to be a tough matchup, I think. A big one through the middle. But how many missed tackles is there going to be on guys like Tavita Pangai in this one? That'll be the fun one to watch. So let's go to the next game, which will be Cowboys and Knights. Drinky getting much cheaper. I still don't think you buy him over the next couple of weeks. Closer to the buy period is probably when you look at Drinkwater. I really just need to see him score well and get good tackle breaks, get good run meters for him to be as an option at the moment, with Cowboys just not being good and decimated by injuries. It makes it very tough. I was very much hoping for Granville to be a starter in this one, but they have just moved Granville to 13 for Tamalolo, who is out, unfortunately. So, as I said at the start of the video, I think Cotter, good chance he plays massive minutes in this one. Chester came on just as utility. He came on for Peter Hiku, who had a pretty tough night out. So, those minutes, don't worry about them. Granville is probably the big minute guy out of this, but you'd expect Dunn to play a few more. So, Cotter probably, does he play 65, 70? Does he go the full 80? I would say probably 67 to 70 would be normal for him there. Hess to still play about that 40. Josefsky there to mix a bit of time with Mitch Dunn potentially. Nanae playing probably 80 for him, you'd imagine there. And McLean is back in that forward rotation. So that's where and why Granville was playing bigger minutes. And I think he's a big risk if you're looking to pick him up now, not being in the starting side. If he was in that starting 13 role, and Cotto is in the middle there, and McLean wasn't there, then potentially an option. But yeah, it makes it pretty tough, I would say there. For the Knights, interesting clash here because I think they can probably beat the Cowboys again. Greg Marzhew, Gagai, Miller, I expect a big bounce back from those guys. Ponga is returning and is obviously a very sneaky option, but he is most likely going to be playing Origin, right? So not a clear one there. Crossland keeps his spot in the 9 jersey. Kurt Mann is in the 13, and we don't have any signs of Elliott, which good for owners of guys like Crossland and people looking at Mann. We'll discuss both Crossland and Mann tomorrow. Leo Thompson, up to you if you want to keep going with him or trade him out. Frizzell, always a good option there, but in that edge position for sure there. Interchange, you got Croker there if you're holding him still. Jacob Saifidi does return, which is good. So Ponga and Saifidi there for the boys. Gamble comes into the 14 role, which surely he comes on for a good portion of this game because he actually had a pretty good game last one. Does he spend some time in the middle in the 13? Does he take a bit of time from Crossland? I think either of them is pretty fair, and both Crossland and Mann have their risks, but they both have their big upside as well. Okay, Dolphins and the Titans here. I still think Hamiso's a good buy team. You got him, wing fullback, center cover. Obviously, if you have a lot of Dolphins in your side, it does make it a little bit tough to look at bringing someone in like him in if you're not sure on if you're not going to potentially trade out one of the other guys just before buys. So have a look at that and kind of work out what you want to do with your Dolphins squad. If you have Jerry Marshall King as well as Lemuelu and the like, then it can make it hard. But Katoa, Nikorima, Katoa's a good, an interesting one potentially as a loop option again. Lemuelu keeps his spot, which is good. Kafusi there, he'll go to that right side with Isaiah Katoa, and I think that probably helps Lem in terms of getting some solid defensive output and a reduction in some missed tackles. I think guys like Aitken on that side are going to be able to help him. Nikorima's there. Yeah, I actually think their attack's going to be their attack is better down that left side. So for Lemuelu to potentially get some tackle breaks, offloads, and a try, I think that left side is going to be better than the right there. It seems to go right out to Asako on that side when they want plenty of work, and potentially tries as well. So that's that with the Dolphins. Ray Stone goes back to the bench. Don't look at him. Titans. Campbell keeps his spot. We see AJ Brimson in the 21, so he's either this week or next week. So yeah, still, if you're a Campbell owner, very happy that he's named, and hopefully he does play. Cam Pereira in there as well. Probably still a hold, guys. Tanner Boyd, a clear hold as well in this game. I think it'll be a pretty tight one. Dave Fafita, if you'd like to buy him, you get 5 weeks before potential Origin for Fafita. I believe they have a buy in that round 13 as well. Yeah, I think so. But that's that. Clissy Haas is on the interchange. Michaela is in there as well. So interesting interchange there. All right, let's go to Tigers and the Eagles. What a mess around this is. Where's Dane Laurie? He's not even there anywhere, is he? Oh, he's on the bench. Dane Laurie's on the bench, and they're playing a rookie who I don't know enough about yet. And I'll have a little discussion with Scoop, and I'll do some research on Bulla and see what he's going to be like. But yeah, really, he could be in there for 1 week. He could switch with Laurie and go to the bench. Ugh, it's just a mess. So deciding what you want to do with that, up to you. Brendan Wakeham in the 6 jersey, fairly cheap. Is it awkward? Is it hard to do? Yeah. Do you want to do it? I don't know. Bateman and Papali'i, both good options, guys, if you want to look at them. They're going to be cheeky for sure. And yeah, that bench is an interesting one. Tommy Talau, he's in the 17 jersey, so I can't even use him as a looping option this week. So that's a bit rude, isn't it? Anyway, hopefully, yeah. And then Sean Bloor in the 19 jersey. I thought he was pretty good a couple of weeks ago. When they got pumped, he did a good job, but he's one of the guys to fall to the 19 jersey. So yeah, crazy how things are going with Tigers, but I'm not going to begin to learn to understand what Coach Sheensy is doing in that one and that board, that's for sure. Eagles on their side of the ball. Schuster is back. Maybe. Who knows with him, to be honest with you. Ethan Bullymore comes into onto that left side. Olakau'atu on the right. Kelma Tuolangi is out of this one. So very interesting there. KO Weeks is in the reserves as well. And Tupulotu is also in the reserve. So thankfully Garrick is back. Saab keeps his spot. You got Parker and Harper in there as well. So if you're looking at anyone in this game, yeah, not really. You got Sam Fainu on the interchange. Again, someone you probably want to have a look at before you make any decisions. And Shaw Kebby comes back into the interchange. So just a whirlwind of a week in terms of these team lists for sure. Yeah, let's move on. Cool. Roosters Dragons. So yeah, the big changes happen in this one. Manu is in the 6 and he becomes a very good option, guys. We'll speak about him in tomorrow's video, clearly, but he's definitely on my radar. Brandon Smith also is an option, guys, but Drew Hutchison is on the bench, and Momorowski gets his spot back in the outside back. So have a look at him, but obviously Roosters have to get better for any of these guys to do well. Hopefully a bounce back from Teddy, and we can get a good score out of Brandon Smith if you're picking him up. Egan Butcher keeps his spot. Angus Crichton is named to start, so he's going to be out. He's going to be on the right-hand side, it looks like, outside Manu, which is going to be pretty cool. So it'll be Manu, Crichton there, and then Momorowski and Jackson Parlow there. So it'll be a fun side. I think both left and right are going to be pretty solid there. Do they direct more traffic left because Sam Walker's out? I doubt it. I think Manu's going to be pretty ball dominant as always, and Tupanoa is back as well. So Tyrell May keeps his spot in the interchange. He deserves it. Nathan Brown is in the reserves, guys. So yeah, not one to really look at, but really happy with their bench now. I think they'll do much better. Having Angus back is just a massive lift for the squad, I think. For the Dragons side of the ball, Tyrell Sloan keeps his spot, which is good news. Monga keeps his spot as well. In the forwards there, bit of a funky one. Couchman keeps his spot there. Bird maintains the edge. Ben Merrick-Pasila comes back into the side. Did anything actually happen with Jaden Sewer? I'm not actually sure. Is he injured or is he suspended? Because he can't be dropped, right? He's playing great. Anyway, that's that. He's completely out, so he must be injured. I can't remember. Someone will tell me in the comments anyway. Birdie, still a great option, guys, if you're looking at him. That interchange isn't scary at all for his minutes. And by little, just keep switching between Merrick-Pasila. Hopefully, this is the week we get a 30 out of him again and make a little bit more cash. Come on, Ben. The best cash cow of 2023. Storm and Warriors. This is a crazy week, hey? Like, for content next week, it's going to be wild. I'll try and... I think we'll do probably a big one with Scoop on Monday, let's say. So I'll do the Sunday wrap-up of the couple of games. And then Monday or Tuesday morning, one of the two, we'll try and do probably a big buy special. Something that doesn't really affect, waiting for those two games, because it's going to be a weird content week with, those two games. This game's going to finish at 9 p.m. Sydney time on the Tuesday, and then I think Wednesday's going to have the team list, and there's a game on Thursday. So to fit like 5 videos, 6 videos, or make them just bigger, it's going to be hard for you guys to actually follow along with everything. So we'll probably do a big video on the Monday or the Tuesday is going to be the call. Okay, Storm Boys. Munster's back into the 6, Meany back into the 1. Warbrick keeps his spot, which is good. Harry Grant in the 9, thankfully, and hopefully got to get a better score for all owners. Lioro, Katoa, both in their right positions. And we see our great man Nelson back into the 8. So very exciting for him. Tui is out suspended, I believe. Is that right? Suspended, yeah. So that helps them just having Nelson back. He's going to be big for this squad. For the Warriors side, I expect it to be a pretty close game, guys. The outside backs for them doesn't change. Wateni Zelezniak is clearly in the squad this time. Nick Corey comes back. Curran back to the bench. So again, not an option at the moment. People look at Tom Ale, and he's a bit of an awkward price now in the 330s, I believe. So if you're looking at him, it's an awkward one. Keep an eye on Tohu Harris as well as a potential option in the next bunch of weeks. So that's where we're at that. Volkman's in the reserves, still picky as well, and Va'alea, who lost his spot last week to Wateni Zelezniak. So yeah, big news this team list. It's going to be an interesting one to work out your trades this week. Just be aware, guys, that if you're pumping 3 trades every week, if you're coming into this week at 23, 24 trades, almost using most of them, 23 is max. 24 is one saved at the moment. If you keep pumping those 3, you're going to really struggle over the origin period. Unless you're a head-to-head guy. If you're a head-to-head guy, then just keep making the correct trades. But you're obviously not going to be trading heavy in round 13, 16, 19. So that's that video, guys. Hope you really enjoyed it, and we'll catch you in the next bunch.